All right, let's talk about doing a infield show up with the person's driver's license photo. All right, and not just a traditional six-pack. My name is Anthony Bandiero. I'm an attorney and senior legal instructor for Blue to Gold Law Enforcement Training, bringing you another roadside chat. This question comes from an officer in California. He said we did had a stabbing that occurred. From the tone of the text, it looks like it was pretty serious. The suspects had already left by the time the cops arrived. They scoop up the victim. They're bringing him to the hospital. They look at a surveillance camera that was associated with a gas station, and they get a car. They get a license plate. So they run the DMV records. They pull up the registered owner's driver's license photo. They show it to the victim. He says, "That's the guy that stabbed me." They go to the suspect's house. They take him in custody. How they took him in custody and so forth is not relevant to our story today. The question is, when they showed him that single photo, was that a valid identification technique? And the answer is going to be yes. Okay. Now, traditionally, we normally do infield show-ups, right? That's when you actually bring the suspect to the victim and you try to minimize undue influence, suggestions, right? You're not trying to suggest, explicitly that this is the person. You would never say to a victim, "Hey, we got the guy. We just need you to confirm," right? If you do that, that's what's going to be considered overly suggestive. Now, that's a Supreme Court standard, by the way, with these identification procedures, is they say overly suggestive, meaning so suggestive that you basically are making the identification for the person. They're not making it on their own. And what I like about this is that they say overly suggestive. They did not say suggestive. All identifications are suggestive. If I was in a lineup, right? The fact that even if I didn't commit a crime, okay, the fact that I'm in a lineup is suggestive. It's suggesting that, hey, I guess they put Anthony in there, so he could be the suspect, even though I didn't commit the crime. So all identification procedures like this are at least somewhat suggestive. You just can't be over suggestive and overcome the person's free will and ability to make a decision. Now, when you have a single photo versus a six-pack, that hurts us. But what's in our favor? Number one is there is some level of exigency here. Same with the infield show up, right? Bringing the suspect to the victim. It's not ideal, but it's what we have. The courts will allow it. They understand that the victim's memory is fresh. They do understand that sometimes a person has to be in handcuffs, even if they're not the suspect, but they're accused of it, especially if it's a violent crime. But we do things like, a lot of agencies will, read something to the victim or the witness and say something on the order of, "Hey, we may or may not have the person. Please make an independent recollection. Do not base your decision and choice on anything that we say or the fact that he may be in handcuffs," and so forth. We try to not surround the person. If the handcuffs can come off, they can come off, but a lot of times that's hard, and so forth. So we do try to minimize it with language and our behavior and the way we talk to the person, the identifier, and so forth. But here, this was actually a very good move. You have a violent felony that was committed. You have the suspect's car. The picture itself is not a jail photo. It's not like you brought it. You got the guy's inmate number is right below it, and it says the time that he's in the county jail. You got a DMV photo, so that's not going to be too suggestive right there. And you simply just say, "Hey, do you think this person's involved?" And if the person is involved, that's great. Then you're going to say things like, "Look, when we go to court on this, it's not overly suggestive because, again, we didn't say this is our guy. We used the photo that was fairly neutral. The crime just occurred, and his memory is fresh, and so forth. So this is gonna be good, and it's a great question, and it was a good move. I think this was if I was on scene and I was faced with the same situation, I know I would absolutely do the exact same thing. But I'd also write a really good report explaining my rationale and so forth. All right. All right. Keep it coming. If you like what we're doing over here, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. And until next time, my friends, stay safe and please make good case law.